Today we're going to look at a couple of data sets. First, the population of New York and how it's grown throughout the years. Second is the population of Los Angeles and how it's grown throughout the years. We're going to see if both graphs are ever going to meet. So to do that, we need to open up a new document. So we're going to do that in our calculator. And I don't have anything that I want to keep, so I'm going to hit no to saving it. And we're going to add a new list or spreadsheet here. So you notice it's kind of like an Excel document. Up top, in our columns, we're going to put some titles. So we have a year, we have New York, and we have LA. On the side here then, our data goes from 1960 to the year 2000. So we have 1960, 1970, 1980, 1990, and the year 2000. All right. So this is my 2000, not 200. So this is my data set. Now, the population in New York in the year 1960, according to my data here that I'm reading off, is 14,759,429. So I'm going to put all this data in, and in a second I'll reappear with it. You can put it in your calculators then. So here are my data sets. I have New York, starting off in 1960 with almost 15 million, and currently in the year 2000 with 21 million. Los Angeles with 6.7 million up to 16 million. So I want to graph these now. Take a look at them. So to graph them, I'm going to hit document over here on the left and insert. I want to insert data and statistics. So we get this screen. These dots mean nothing. And I want to add my variable down here. Now I know that the population is a function of the year. So we're going to put year on the x-axis and we're going to put our population on the y-axis. So we'll first take a look at New York. All right. So New York, you'll notice that it is going up as the years go on. Between 1970 and 1980, there wasn't much of an increase there, but it's relatively going up. On the left, you see this, we have 1.5 e to the plus 7. All that means is take this decimal point and move it 7 places to the right. So that would actually be 15 million, 16 million, 18 million, 19 million, 21 million. All right, so now if I want to know the equation that goes along with this line, I need to do some calculations. So I go to Menu, and I'm going to click Analyze Regression. And we want to show linear mx plus b. So this is the equation that goes along with my graph. All right, so we have y equals 1.5, it says e5 negative 2.8 e to the 8th. So let's see if we can get rid of these e's. Like I said before, all it means is move that decimal point 5 places to the right, but we might be able to get rid of them. On Documents, Settings, Document Settings, and this is saying float 2, we'll just put it on float and make it the default. Alright, there we go. So we have an equation now. Y equals 147,894.23 x plus a negative 27,275,561,267. So this is the equation that goes along with my data. Now if we want to know the equation that goes along with the LA data, we just change this to LA. And my dots move around and it gives me a new equation. So this is my Los Angeles data set. Notice that it is increasing as well. So I want to know if these are ever going to cross. Will the population of Los Angeles ever be the same as the population as New York? So we can do that by go into plot properties, menu plot properties, add a y variable. So if we add this New York variable, now we're looking at the New York and LA data at the same time. All right, so notice this is my New York line and this is my Los Angeles line. So it looks like they are going to meet at some point, but after the year 2000. So if I go down here to the bottom of my graph and grab onto it, I can move it to the left. Now it looks like it's not quite on my screen. I need to move this part down a little bit. And we can see that these two lines definitely intersect, and it looks like right around the year 2030 or so. So around 2030, these intersect, and it tells me that they're going to be around 26 million people in those two cities in the year 2030. Now this gives me a good estimate, but I want to know exactly what year. So to figure out exactly what year, we need to open up another document. So let's open up another document. Let's insert a graph. So if I insert a graph, I'm going to look at the first one. I wrote down the equations here. I have y equals 147,894.23x minus 275561267. That is my New York graph. And there's nothing here. The reason there's nothing here is because this axis goes from 0 to 10, and I know that I want to look at the year 2030, right? So 2030 is way far to the right. So first let me put in my other equation. We go to menu, graph, function. We're going to put in the equation for LA, and then we'll go find them both. So this is the equation for LA. Alright. So I've graphed them both. Now, I can do this a couple ways. I could make this smaller and smaller and smaller until I find them both. It looks like I kind of found them both there, but I think there's a better way. If I go to menu and to zoom and to window settings, I can make the window settings exactly what I want. So the lowest X value I want, this is like our domain that we were looking at before. Let's say we want to look at the year 1950 is the lowest, and the highest we can look at 2050. The Y minimum, the lowest population, so maybe 3 million. And let's go up to, say, 30 million. So that should give us a window that covers about everything. If we do that, we see where they cross at, and that is, this graph, it looks like it's a little closer to 2050. We can figure out exactly where that is with a function of the calculator. If we go to menu, analyze graph, we have this intersection function. So if we click on intersection, it asks us a question down here in the lower left, lower bound. So lower bound just means choose somewhere to the left of where you think they intersect at. And then it asks us upper bound. So after we click, it asks us upper bound, and we get something to the right. So I get this value, 2e plus 3, 2e plus 7. I need something a little more accurate than that. So I'm going to look at my settings. Let's see, this is float 1. Let's try the regular float. There we go. Now I get 2030.4. So in the year 2030.4, there will be almost 25 million people in both Los Angeles and New York. So they intersected that point. And it tells us that that's when they're going to be equal. After the year 2030, LA is going to have more, bigger population, and New York is going to have the lower population.